All right. My name is Melissa Sprague. I'm in my second year at NHTI, where I am studying education, special education, and mindful communications. It is January 31st of 2021, and it is 12:47 p.m. So today I'm talking to Tate. Tate is the most wonderful neighbor in the world and my very good friend. She's also a mother and a Montessori kindergarten teacher. Tate, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, as Melissa said, I'm Tate. My full name's Tatum Greco, and I've been teaching for over 20 years. I have a 15-year-old daughter, and as Melissa said, I am a Montessorian. And when I'm not at school, I also work at a barn with horses. So I'm inside and I'm outside.
Awesome. All right. So I'm asking everyone to reflect on what their lives were like and what a typical day was like before COVID, and then what it's like for you now. What's different for you?
Most of the changes have actually happened inside my classroom. As far as my normal day-to-day life, I'm usually either at work or at the barn. So that hasn't changed too much. We weren't really people who tended to go out to restaurants a lot or out to movie theaters. We're either outside or homebodies for the most part. So that part didn't change too much, but as far as the classroom, everything changed. I work in a Montessori classroom. It's multi-age with 3 to 6-year-olds. They tend to do a lot of walking around, a lot of interacting with each other, interacting with the teachers. In a typical year, they would be able to use any tables at any time that were free, working with friends, working alone, depending on what they needed at that given moment. Now, all the children are wearing masks all of the time. We have plexiglass set up between the desks, and everybody has their own desk that they stay at every day. That's been really hard. It is very different from the natural flow of a Montessori classroom. I will say the kids seem to adapt to it a lot better than the adults have. I don't know if we've just been doing this for so long and doing it in a certain way that it's really hard for us to accept change. But the kids just kind of take it as it is. We say you wear masks every day. Now they say, okay. And that's what's done. So I think mostly the stresses come from the classroom, the need to disinfect multiple times a day, the amount of disinfecting, and honestly, just the mental exhaustion from having to think of everything that needs to be done, temperature taking, who was in when, asking all the proper questions every morning, and then watching to make sure everybody has their masks, everybody's distanced, changing some of the games that we normally play in order to accommodate for that. So the biggest change has definitely been in the classroom.
Awesome. That sounds hard. So what are some of the challenges that you have faced as a result of COVID?
Well, let's see. Back when everything started in March, immediately we closed down, and for the first time ever in the school's history, we did remote learning. That was a challenge. We didn't have anything set up for that. We didn't really even have a plan. We did get that done, and we were able to do some remote learning, which again is not entirely conducive to Montessori education. So that was a huge change, and that happened almost immediately. And so as far as having to be home, not sure week to week whether we were going back, I brought half of the classroom home with me and set up a room in my house. And a lot of the difficulty comes from the unknown, not knowing when we were going back, if we were going back, what kind of enrollment we would take, how we would set up the staff. So, a lot of that was pretty difficult. And then coming into the school year, just financially, we had to cut our enrollment in order to make sure that everybody was properly socially distanced. And being a small private nonprofit school, that put a big stress on us financially. So being small, that put a stress on each individual financially as well.
Absolutely. So how do you feel like you have overcome those challenges?
I don't feel like I've overcome those challenges, to be honest with you.
That's a valid answer.
We're living with them day to day. I think as soon as you come past one obstacle, another one shows up. You know, we finally get done how to organize the classroom, and then it needs to change because maybe some of the criteria has changed, or some of the numbers have changed, and we need to rethink how we're doing things. So I would say it's a bit of small obstacles that are becoming overcome, but they're almost never ending at this point. Like, I kind of feel like until we see the whole world is kind of a little bit closer to normal, I don't feel like really we feel like we've overcome much. We're just making it work.
That makes sense. All right. How are you finding comfort or meaning in these challenging times?
Well, one of the bonuses is spending a lot of time with your family. So I did get to be home a lot more when I was doing the remote learning, which now we're actually going to be back in school this week. So I was home a lot more. I did get to spend a lot more time with my family. I will say working in a barn is probably my biggest outlet. Cold, tired, frustrated. It doesn't matter once you get out there and you're walking around and you're with the animals. It's actually very peaceful, and it kind of can bring you back down. And you know, for me, I need something new and exciting almost all of the time to keep me going. So I decided to paint my living room. Most recently, I've been in quarantine for 10 days because one of my students was positive. Luckily, there was just an isolated case. But I was here for 10 days and couldn't go anywhere. So I did find my local hardware store would let me order colored paint online and leave it outside for me. So that made it useful. So I did. I redid my whole living room while I was here. It was exciting. It was fun. I feel like I got something done.
Absolutely. Let's see, we have lots of time left. Is there anything else you want to tell me about that?
Well, I just feel like, you know, what's going to work for me is not going to work for everybody. I'm not someone who, you know, at 46 was super duper social. I know that for some people, you know, having Zoom meetings with their friends helps. I don't really find that particularly engaging for myself. You know, as far as being a teacher and having spent a lot of time on Zoom meetings, I kind of don't want to do them with my friends too. So I needed to find something that I could do in my house that, like I said, would excite me a little bit and my family. And again, you know, having the farm, I haven't been able to go to the horse farm for the days that I've been isolated, but, you know, and I thought I'd be so relieved to be inside out of the cold, but I actually really miss it. So, you know, I'm hoping people can find ways to either excite themselves or stay connected with other people, or get outside, you know, even when it's in the single digits like it is today. And I'm also fortunate to be able to have done doggy play dates with you, Melissa, out in our backyard.
Been a huge comfort to me.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's having you as a neighbor and having someone to be able to socialize with and spend time outside with the
Just to
dogs.
have a connection, and that was the other thing we did. I guess I did a lot of things during quarantine to make myself happy. The other thing was we did get a quarantine puppy over the summer.
Forgot about
And
that.
that has also kept us very entertained and busy when we're locked in the house.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and she was brand new. She was very small when you got her, so
13 weeks old, and I believe we got her in July. So between the puppy, my daughter has a horse. We also have a dog, a cat, and goats. We've been socializing with our animals a little bit more.
awesome. Do you want to tell us any more about your remodel?
So basically, when we moved in this house, we didn't have a lot of money. So a lot of the furniture and a lot of the decor was handed down or secondhand or something we found, um, you know, through a friend or something like that. So I didn't really feel like we got to choose a lot of the decor. And, you know, before this week, we had basic white walls, and it was just a very traditional living room kind of look. And I wanted to go with something a little funkier, something that was just a little bit more of an expression of the way our family lives and some of our beliefs. So I wanted to make it a little more zen, but also a little more colorful. So I, as you can see, got some colorful tapestries, and I went from white walls to very, very bright teal walls.
Love it.
And I also changed some of we had some curtains up there, but instead my husband put up a white birch branch and we got some sheer paneling and we added those on. And again, we were just trying to, I figured we haven't had anybody over in ages and I don't really plan on having anyone over. I want to make it how we feel comfortable. And it might be a little eccentric, but we're a little eccentric, so that's okay.
Awesome. Well, that's wonderful. I mean, is there anything else that you'd like to share?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I just hope that everybody, can just stay strong and stay connected. And, I'm a firm believer in wearing a mask. I think that's why our school was able to keep it down to one case. And, we have to just kind of pull together to get through this and be each other's supports.
Awesome. All righty. Well, that is about 11 minutes. That'll probably be fine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being willing to share. I'm truly honored that you're willing to do this for me. You have a wonderful story. Thank you for sharing it.
Thank you, Melissa. This was fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much.